Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of these PowerBuilt Xeon sockets, kind of like the Intel Xeon processors. I think they really are knocking off the name of that. Anyway, there's some kind of new socket here. I impulse bought both of these off of eBay for like 17 shipped or something, less than 20 bucks, and they're pretty cheesy. PowerBuilt used to be a pretty good tool company. They've been around since the at least a couple of decades. But they've been bought out, and they've kind of just been, you know, they're always a decent tool brand, but now they're just totally cheesy. And so they came out with these new sockets, and they have like some different mixture of sets. These are kind of like an introductory set where you have these 8-piece metric and fractional. What I think is odd is they jump from 15 to 19. Otherwise, the sizing is okay. They're in these cheesy little trays, and they have this interesting kind of fluting here, which is, you know, just has a small undercut. Otherwise, it's a normal fluted socket, and it doesn't really seem to make a huge difference, to tell you the truth. You know, if we put in a fastener, they actually kind of seem like they're just a little bit loose fitting. Really don't appreciate that, even if we tried a couple different random ones here. Just pretty darn loose. That's a 19 millimeter. Even if we do the 3/4 inch here, it's still kind of loose, and the whole point to that is, you know, we have an old Craftsman 6-point wrench here, and really all this gimmicky fluting, you know, just some basic undercutting, if we can get this to focus, is all you need. And Craftsman, you know, this is an old American-made 6-point, is just roaching it with a little bit of an undercut and keeping it tight. We can see how, in this situation, the fastener is just much tighter in there, even this Ulsa here. That's really tight, to tell you the truth. I mean, that will just hold the fastener in the ratchet. Anyway, that's kind of my issues. They're just a cheesy marketing gimmicking thing, and so, you know, you shouldn't really buy these, but they're just so cheap. I can see, you know, that's the whole point. These are just contract manufactured. They just have, you know, their deal here is that there's just a slight curvature instead of it being flat, and so that's kind of why they're calling them a Zeon, because they also have a degree of the fluting, but the fluting just removes material and ultimately makes the sockets wear out faster. I do have an example here. This is a big socket, so you can really see this is, you know, a more modern proto fluted socket, but once, you know, this is an impact, but once you start really using it, it just ends up pressing in and beating in the metal anyway, making that same curved shape. So why not just preemptively do that? It's not something that's new. And when you do something like this, and it may be a little bit nicer, but unfortunately they're just broached way too large. Let me get these on some rails. So anyway, here they are. Really cheesy. I just wanted to see what PowerBuilt was like, and they're just kind of cheesy. I guess the one thing you could mention is that they do knurl the side of the sockets. I actually wish more sockets were like that, but the numbering, especially with the big letters Zeon, it's really kind of, when you want to find the size, that's the only place it's at, is like right there. And this 15 millimeter, it's really difficult to read that. So anyway, I give these PowerBuilt sockets a pass. The Zeon is unfortunately another gimmick, and there's no reason to pick them up unless you're impulse buying some sockets or giving them away maybe as a wedding gift or something. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Caddis Maximus out.